Hello and welcome to the Real Talk Podcast with Kelly and Avery. We're your hosts, Kelly Berger and Avery Roberts. We are two rare ladies living with congenital muscular dystrophy, CMD.
The show where we amplify voices, break down barriers, and celebrate the power of disability identity. Whether you're living with a disability, supporting someone who is, or just here to learn, you're in the right place.
Where wit, wisdom, and reels are all part of the party. So sit down with us. We're tearing down stereotypes, one reel at a time.
It's a front row seat to bold conversations and the thriving disabled lifestyle, and we're ready to get gloriously uncomfortable.
Let's get loud, proud, and empowered. Real power, real stories. I'm going to hijack the intro right now. Miss Avery usually cues us in, but I'm just so jazzed and fired up for this episode that I want to start us off today. Avery, did I throw you off here?
No, all good. Please, Kelly, take it. Take it away.
Oh my goodness. So this episode I have been dying to do for a while now. Obviously, I talk a lot about driving and adaptive driving and how stoked I am to be able to have that independence. So one thing that throws a loop in that is when there are complications when people park in the accessible parking spots and or the aisles. Boo.
Boo. Boo, boo.
Right.
I feel like this episode really literally hits close to home for us, or at least close to wherever we're trying to park, right?
Yeah. Yes, this is true. I know it's something that's a major frustration for a lot of disability community members who also experience those same issues and annoyances that hinder and shake up really your whole day or even week or whatever it ends up being. Yeah, it's just one of those things that another annoyance that a lot of people are just very ignorant about and don't really know. So this episode is hopefully to share some stories, have some awareness promotion of this issue that hopefully we can continue to spread and educate people that this is an issue that needs to be addressed, and hopefully with word of mouth and more awareness we can create real driving inclusion change.
Yeah. We're talking about accessible parking aisles, which if people didn't know, that's those striped lines next to accessible spots. Apparently that's what they're called. Accessible parking aisles. And yeah, the ones where people love to, and I'm putting this in quotes, love to block just for a minute.
Yeah, only a minute, right? That's all it takes.
Only a minute.
For that
seconds.
inconvenience, yes.
Yes. Kelly, if we had $1 for every time someone parked in the access aisle, we'd be recording this from a beach in Cabo or the Maldives or, just some tropical island
Luxury
or beach.
bougie place, yes.
Yes.
We'd be so rich, for sure. I know that. Oh, yes. But yeah, I guess I want to take it back. So the lines, right? What do they mean? Why does it matter? What is that? You just see these blue lines, yellow lines, white lines, and it's like, oh, why is there an extra space? Is that a parking space? All right, boom, boom, right now. No, it is not a parking space.
No.
This serves a purpose. So yeah, these lines are for people that you have mobility device equipments or mobility aids. They need that extra space to either transfer in and out of the car, or also if you are a wheelchair user, you use that to deploy a wheelchair ramp. So they need extra space to the ramp come out and maneuver around. So it serves a purpose. It's not just there, or it's not there for your shopping cart to park that either, because that's always a fun adventure trying to get out and navigate around a bunch of shopping carts because people are lazy and don't want to, return them too. So
yeah, but in all seriousness, this is an issue that is so much more than just inconvenience. It's about access and safety and dignity and just the right to, just exist in public spaces. And like Kelly said, those spaces are essential, especially for people like Kelly and I who are wheelchair users, are mobility device users, and like Kelly and I who, are driving our own vans. If we're alone and we need to get out and deploy our side entry ramp, how are we going to do that if we can't deploy the side entry ramp? Like, to us it's common sense, but to people I'm sure it's something that, is taken for granted. But without that space, we're completely trapped in our car. Or even worse, if it's snowing outside or raining outside and we're stuck outside and we're unable to get back in. And the ADA guidelines, at least in the US, require that access aisle, that, those striped lines to, they must be provided. It's not optional. And these guidelines exist for a reason. Enforcement is a whole other story.
I have yet to see someone get ticketed for either a handicap parking violation or an violation. It's wild. You see that always under the signs. I'm like, ooh, 250 or $500 fine. But whether that's enforced, I've yet to see it in all my years. Maybe that's, part of the thing. We start doing that or ticketing. But yeah, it's just wild that people just think it's okay to just proceed on with their day to park closer or,
Yeah.
whatever it may be. So
Yeah. All right. Deep breath. Let's talk about what we actually see in those access aisles. Motorcycles, shopping carts, delivery trucks, and my personal favorite, the "I'll just be a second" people.
that or the Uber. I know I had somebody lock me in one time. They're like, "Oh, just barely be a second," and "Oh, there's nowhere else to park for a delivery driver," and I'm like, "That's still like not a spot." I don't know. Your little Uber sign doesn't make it okay to still park there. Yeah, it's yeah. I feel like I've seen it all, and yet I'm still out in the wild, and I still encounter more and more and more things.
Right.
Yeah.
We've both seen so many people just park their car inside those access lines. So not even like people parking in the accessible spots, um, just because it's a closer spot. Like, believe me, we've seen that too. But we've especially seen people parking in those striped lines, like as if it was a legal spot. You right,
Mhm.
Kelly?
Yeah, so I feel like we need to like go back into like time of growing up and what lines are. Like for me, I just take it back all the way to like elementary school days. We were taught to like color in the lines, right? Stay
Yeah.
in the lines. And then you're told to like line up, stay in a line. And then once you do drive, you're told to like stay in a line when you're driving. So like why is it when you park, you think that you can park
In the
in
line.
lines and not, stay in lines, don't like stay in lines. What is that? How is that hard? We were taught that from such an early age, and I don't understand where the disconnect is there that people think it's okay. And I think we also need to chat about what is the difference between a standard handicap spot and a van accessible spot.
Hmm.
Um, so I know that there is different I guess measurements and proximities to what makes a standard spot and what makes a band spot. I know for me, I always have to use the band spot, so those are extended lines, so not just a smaller uh, set of lines. Because for me, I need more room for the ramps to deploy. So I think a lot of people too, because usually the band spot may be a little closer. So it's like, I'll just skirt in there. But if you don't need those spots, please don't take the van spots. There's usually even less of those than the regular handicap spots. So that's something too that always irks me. Obviously, if it's the last one left, I understand that that happens and you need it, go for it. But I know the van spots are like the most uh, hard to come by, right? It's like
Yeah,
spotting a panda. You find one,
exactly.
it's like, oh, like the rainbow, you
So
know?
rare. Something that I also want to talk about that I just thought of is I've been seeing more recently. I mean, and I don't know if I've been the only one noticing this, but the I don't like the universal sign for like accessible parking, like, I don't know what you call it. They changed it, I think, like, a couple years ago, to be something that they perceived as more inclusive. Um, but with that, I feel like I've been seeing more and more van accessible spots, like, that they label van accessible spots with a smaller, more narrow access aisle.
Mm,
And I'm like,
I don't like to hear that.
I don't know how you
How
think I
that's
can get out of
possible.
my
Right.
van.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think you should be making the access aisle a little bigger instead of
Oh, let's do that.
smaller, but that's a whole
Yes.
other conversation.
I mean, I would love 2 spaces instead of 1, to be honest,
Yes,
because people park over the lines, like, they don't know how to park in the lines, and I'm not
exactly.
trying to call out, like, I know the elderly have
Right.
harder times, like, driving and maneuvering their vehicles, but it always seems like I get out and I'm like, there's as some person, I'm like, "Oh, like, you really just trapped me in for that long because you just literally parked halfway in the line," so it really is
Yeah.
it's a thing, man.
I feel like this is kind of like a PCA, not PCA. Oh my god.
PSA.
We're always talking about personal care attendants. A PSA for all drivers, like, be cognizant of your not only surroundings but of you and your vehicle. Like, get out of the car and double check that you are in your respective spot. Like,
Yes.
it's I
Thank you,
can't believe
sir.
I can't believe we have to say this, but, like, it's true. Like, don't just get out and walk away. Like, be respectful of your fellow drivers and your fellow spot takers, especially those who, um, are wheelchair users or drive, accessible vans and who need those accessible spots. I think another thing is that, language. I think we're always talking about language, and a lot of people often say handicap spots, but we're trying to move away from that and say accessible spots. So, thought that was also something to mention. But, Kelly, have you ever had someone yell at you for taking up two spots because they didn't
Oh,
understand what the aisle was for?
yes, I absolutely. So I'll just tell you right now, if your establishment does not accommodate me properly as a van accessible spot user, then I am going to make my own spot, and I will take multiple spots and or park sideways, like parallel park, to
Yeah.
be able to go in and live my life. It really is, um, it strips away my independence, my dignity to have to do that. But that's what ends up happening a lot of times when I'm not properly accommodated. So yes, I have had people say, "Why did you park like that?" I've also had people double park next to me, but they said, "Because you did it, I did it too." And I'm like, that doesn't make it right. Like, it was just wild to me that people, yeah, like I started a trend, like, "Oh, you park like that, so I'm gonna park like you and do that like next to you." It's like, okay, tit for tat. But I think people, like, once they see me get out and realize my setup, it's like, oh, then it clicks. But it's just like, you don't know someone's story, you don't know what they're dealing with, you don't know what that is and why it's like that. So it's like, don't jump to conclusions until you understand, why the person parts the way they did or what their needs are and this and that. But yes, I have been yelled at and like, told that I need to move or I should leave or,
Mm.
all the crazy things. But it's, yeah, it's just like, I'm sorry that, you didn't think to put van spots, as at your place. So that's how I had to accommodate myself to still make it work so that I can participate in society just like everybody else. Yeah, it's sad that it comes to that. I don't like to do that, but that's sometimes what it ends up being,
Right.
unfortunately.
Yeah, and we're willing to fight for it if someone were to come at us after
Yeah, I'm like,
doing
come at
that.
me, bro.
Come at me, bro.
Come at
Yeah,
me,
exactly.
bro.
Um, yeah, I feel like it also just goes back to enforcement. Like, those places that don't have those accessible spots, how are they getting away with it? Like, that's my question.
I know. Really, ADA guidelines, like I said, is just always just like, oh, a mere suggestion, right?
Yeah,
You should maybe
the
have that,
bare minimum.
but I'm not gonna call you out. But yeah, it's just, yeah, it's sad. It's just like if you're going to have a new place, please think of all the different types of people that want to come support, a
Right.
place, and we can only do that if you provide us with the ability to do so. So yeah, just be inclusive of all the different people that would want to come out and attend.
Yeah. It's not just annoying, it's really dangerous. And like the emotional toll,
Safety issue.
yeah, the emotional toll, it's real. You feel invisible and like your access, your existence is always an afterthought. I feel like we're always saying that, Kelly.
Access
Um,
denied.
access
Right?
denied.
It's like true.
Yes.
I mean, I've also just done circles and gone away.
Yeah.
I've been and because I'm like, I can't. This
Obviously, you
doesn't
don't
work
want
for
me
me.
here.
It's not going to work for me. It's a headache if I were to park in the way that I need. I feel trapped. I might get trapped in. I might, somebody might
Right.
hit my van. Somebody might hit me getting out of this crazy area I had to park in because I wasn't awarded the proper space to begin with. So
Right. I'm sure, we've all been stuck out in the rain waiting for someone to move so they can so that we could get, in our car. Or even like calling a friend or a caregiver to come help because someone um blocked our ramp or our ability to deploy our ramp. Um and that's not independence, that's dependence forced by other people's ignorance. Um, and, like, when someone blocks, that aisle, it's not just rude, it's a safety hazard, like you said, Kelly. Like, imagine trying to transfer out of your chair with traffic flying by you.
it's so scary, so dangerous
Yeah.
for sure.
And
And I will
people
definitely.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say I would be that person behind, like waiting for a spot with my blinker on,
Yeah.
like just challenging, like
No,
I'm
do
waiting for
it.
you.
Yeah.
I will wait for that spot. Yeah, I need that spot for a reason.
Yeah. And people living with disabilities already have so much to plan ahead for everything, and blocking an access aisle adds one more unnecessary, obstacle that we have to deal with. And again, the emotional weight of that, like it adds up. And it's exhausting to feel like you always have to fight for the basics. um, so yeah, that's what I have to say about that. But Kelly, let's play a little game called
Ooh,
yeah, we love
this is
games.
fun.
Um, excuse or nonsense. First one. I was only there for a minute. It doesn't matter. A, mi-
Unacceptable.
a minute can make someone miss an appointment, get stuck in the heat, um, or worse, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
What's yours?
I think I'm gonna only be there for a minute.
Yeah.
As always, just the classic, like, I won't be long. I'm just running in. I'm doing a pickup. Like now, it's always the run in and pickup type things.
Yeah, like the curbside.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that and just oh, I didn't know I wasn't paying attention. It's like that's just like, little sus, little suspicious
Oh,
there.
sis.
Like, yeah, no, I think you knew that that was the closest spot, the most convenient spot, but it's inconvenient when you trap me or stop me from going
Mm,
about my day?
yeah. Or when people say there weren't any other spots, like that's not our problem. I'm sorry, but
Yeah,
there's
LOL,
that's
like we
not
get three, maybe three. Three's like
exactly.
generous.
Talk
And
about
y'all got a whole
equality
hundred,
or
like
inequality.
hundreds of
Exactly.
spots. And we get like what, maybe a handful, and you're gonna take that away from me?
Yeah, and
Mm.
accessibility doesn't just disappear just because parking is tight. I mean, like what? Um, or even like it's not a real space. Like when people tell us that, yes, it is. And it's more real than that illegal spot that you just created for yourself.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, But yeah, we laugh, but it's not funny when we're having to deal with this and live it every single day.
Yeah, and I think too, like us going on here and yapping away and ranting is it's not just a vent, it's to hopefully, get other people to become aware of this issue and hopefully it won't be an issue in the
Yeah,
future. You know what I mean? Like we're doing this so that others in the disability community feel comfort knowing that this is something that we all struggle with and that the general public can hopefully become aware of and yeah, I think there are a lot of things that needs to change. I think, like you said earlier, with better signage and better enforcement, as well as education. And I think that starts in driving school. What do you think, Avery? Should people
yeah,
just get a rundown of what these things mean and why they matter and why it's important? I feel like that was never even a thing when I started driving. Like I knew because I am a user of those things. Otherwise, it's not really taught. Like
exactly. I feel like there needs to be more education. Like, why aren't accessible parking rules part of driver's ed or licensing tests? Um, we also need better signage, like bigger signs that say, do not park in striped areas. Like, I feel like, honestly, it's rough, but I feel like we've come to a point where we literally have to be that direct and just write it out for people. Um, and like maybe even, consider fines or visual deterrents um for people. I think also businesses can help too. Like post reminders in your lot or train staff to say something when violations happen. Um and I think also like community accountability is key. Like if you see something, say something. Um
yes. This is
like
the only time that I will say, "Be a Karen." Like, it's
mhm,
okay to be a Karen when you are fighting for and or helping assist someone, in the disability community who is maybe a potential violation of, uh, multiple parking. Like, if you see something, say something, be that Karen, help support them, help move shopping carts if you can,
yeah.
clear the aisles, let's keep the aisles free. Please, free the
Yeah.
aisles.
Please free the aisles.
Free the aisles.
I feel like especially in our lives and navigating these systems that we have in place in our world, like just we have to be that annoying person. Like we always have to be that annoying person. And like be it. Like especially in this case, like please be annoying and speak up when you see people misusing access aisles. Like it's safe to do so. These access aisles aren't just a luxury for Kelly and I and people like us. They're literally how we live, how we, achieve our independence, um, and really survive. Um, so I would really encourage people to share this episode to educate your friends and families and really normalize this accessibility awareness.
Guess I did bring a little something with me today, Avery.
Ooh.
If you are watching via visual, you will be able to see. Otherwise, I'll try to describe it to you best I can. So we are not sponsored or anything, but I am a big fan of Ability, which is a adaptive driving outlet that helps with conversions and different mobility device equipment. They have a whole campaign called Driving for Inclusion, and with me today, I have these little post-its that are, I'm holding up a post-it note that says, Save Our Spots. And it's a little wheelchair icon. And it says, You put me in a tight position. So basically, these are little post-its that you can, again, not promoting it, but if you would like to put them on somebody's car that misused or did not park properly and put you in a tight space. This is about promoting and driving inclusion. So I have definitely taken upon and some windowed some cars with these post-its because it's very frustrating and it's about awareness. So definitely Accountability will put the link in the show notes, how you can go and request your tickets to Drive for Inclusion and Yeah, let's spread awareness. Let's do this. Keep the aisles clear. I love that they have these little tickets. It's seriously all over my car. Like I keep them on me constantly. So when I do get stuck, I let people know like, hey, and then they can read that and they can go to the link and learn some more about why parking, within the lines really does matter and makes a difference.
Yeah. You get a ticket and you get a ticket.
You get to see, oh, I know. I've done a windows to a whole like side of someone's car one time, and
Oh my god.
yeah, I mean, it's a whole thing when you're trapped for hours, out in the cold, in the rain, and you're by yourself. Like I don't have a way home. I don't have an alternative, and
Yeah.
it really does put us in such a vulnerable position. So, we hope with this episode helps create that change and get your little tickets, your post-it notes, and credibility. If you are listening or watching, we send us a whole box, man.
Yeah.
Sponsor us. We'll talk about you forever. We love this.
Yeah.
So definitely fans. We're fans.
If our listeners don't know, Broadability is leaders in the accessible vehicle technology space, and they're doing some serious advocacy work through Drive for Inclusion, like Kelly mentioned. So yeah, I feel like Kelly and I always encourage like support the brands that are doing it right, and who are using their platform to lift our disabled voices. So thank you, Broadability. And we'll
You get an air
yes.
horn. You get an air horn.
Yes, we'll drop the link in the show notes so you can check it out. But I feel like signs and paint on the ground are just not enough. And people know better. But what they really need is those consequences. Like I feel like we've been talking about, and just there has to be accountability, and blocking an access aisle or parking illegally in an accessible spot should result in a ticket. Period. Like, I'm calling it out now. And some cities and towns are stepping up with enforcement tools. And we definitely need more of that. Um, and like, why is it easier to get a parking ticket for overstaying at a meter, than for blocking someone's independence? And actually, there are reporting apps popping up where you can submit photos and license plate numbers when someone misuses an accessible space. Some examples of those are parking mobility, access earth, or also there are some city specific apps. Like for NYC, it's 311, or I think for LA, it's like something like My LA 311. And also like parking mobility even partners with law enforcement in certain areas. So like there are volunteers who report violations, and those reports can then lead to actual tickets being issued. And
Mm.
that's huge. Um, so we're not out here to start some parking wars. But it's about safety and rights, and dignity. And if enforcement is inconsistent or even non-existent, people think it's okay to park wherever they want.
Continue that
Um,
behavior. It starts a whole behavior, a
yeah,
pattern. Yeah, pattern
a
behavior. It's
trend,
yeah.
a pattern.
Mm-mm.
If you're listening and wondering what you can do, like please download one of those apps or look up your city's reporting process, or even call your local rep and ask them how accessible parking works, and those laws, and how are those laws being enforced, so that you can be a part of the solution too.
Yeah, I think an interesting statistic would be looking into the actual number of violations. Like in
Yeah,
the US, like, is it even reported? How do we get that data? Because I feel like it's be like three. There are three, right? Like, it's
yeah,
such a minimal number. Um, yeah, hopefully more will increase, and then less occurrences when people are punished for doing those things.
yeah. Well, we always wrap up our episodes with a wheel talk moment. Um, Kelly, do you want to share a wheel talk moment? Where maybe you felt like you had that you especially had power when
Ooh,
in one of
actually, you
these
know what? This is
situations.
just like an aha moment. I actually reminisced with someone the other day who was there during this. So, yeah, I was speaking to the driving and being trapped in. So, I was actually at a local brewery, which did not have ample parking, and I was trapped there with a group of people and waited as the whole restaurant and actually garnered enough support. This car was like a little like, I don't know, like a little Kia, like a little tiny
Yeah,
I don't know, it was a very small car, that had trapped me in, and they actually all rallied together, like, got the whole block involved and actually pushed the car, like, moved the car so that I could get in and get home.
like
Isn't that
physically.
wild? That yes, yes.
Oh
Like,
wow,
literally, like, 20 people, like, shaped and moved
strangers.
yes. Complete strangers. People
Wow.
were, like, videoing it. I think it's on TikTok somewhere, I don't know.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it was such a moment, and people were, like, so rallying behind me because they understood that, like, there was no other way for me to enter my vehicle. Nobody
Yeah,
could move it for me because I drive with my hands. It was a whole thing, and this whole, like, little, corner area just rallied up, and these big dudes just, like, got and were able to move the car enough where I could, get into point my ramp and then be on with my day, but yeah, that just totally just thinking about it the other day, and I was like, "Oh my god, that was, one of those moments where people stepped up and stepped in, and I don't think anybody that was there would ever do something like that again, you know? It was all a
right.
teaching moment, all a learning moment, so
Yeah.
that was a pretty big moment for
How
me.
empowering. I feel like
Yeah,
that would also give me a little bit more faith in humanity.
I know, it was
Wow.
totally I did not expect the people to rally the way that they did, and,
Yeah.
like, "You're gonna get home tonight. No, we're making this happen."
Yeah.
I was like, "What do you mean? How?" They're like, "We're moving this car." And I'm like, "You're moving the car?" Like, they were able to scoot it out of the way enough to get me to get in. So, yeah, that was such a moment. Definitely one
Wow.
that I'll never forget, for sure.
Yeah,
I
I
have
would
the
never
video
forget
somewhere.
that.
But,
Yeah,
yeah.
please send
I
along. I'd love
know,
to see
right?
that. Wow, I would never forget
Can you
that.
top that? I don't know.
I mean, yeah, now I'm like, I guess like my main wheel talk moment that I feel like is especially associated with this topic is many years ago, I think it was one of my doctor's offices. I think it was actually maybe like my dentist office. They didn't have any accessible parking, and it's a really tight parking lot, and so it would be especially difficult to park. And so I forced parking spots, accessible parking spots to be made, and it took a lot. Like, I don't know if anyone has ever had to deal with this before, but the amount of steps and the amount of people you have to go through just to get those striped lines put in place, or those accessible spots put in place, like the blue paint. Who would have thought it would take so much to get the blue paint? Um, but yeah, we got, I think, like, 2 parking spots. I would have loved more.
Yeah.
2 accessible parking spots, right in front of the office, put in place, but it took months. Months and months and months, and just, a lot of perseverance, and resilience, and just determination. Like, you have to really want it. And you come across all the different people of whether they're with you or not, or if they understand it or not. And but yeah, I would say that was, at least so far, my major wheel talk moment for
Yeah, and
accessible
think of all the
parking.
people that you helped after that,
Yeah.
that'll go to that office. So that to me would be proud. I'd probably go there every day and be like, "Is somebody using it?"
That's
Like,
me.
yeah.
That's me.
Right? Like, I wanna watch there in a
Yeah, but
non-creepy way.
yeah, like, I always think about uh like equality, and just like how there is so many less accessible spots, um compared to just regular spots. Like, that's something I often think about a lot in theaters too. Like, concert venues too, like, the amount of accessible seats compared to just regular seats, it's drastic. Like, there could be, like, 10, probably even less accessible seats, and then, like, 500 regular seats. And so it's like, one of a friend, said once that, like, she was not she was trying to get into a theater, and she was getting ready to perform, and she wasn't allowed to go, not allowed, but she wasn't able to go the same way as her friends. And so there was an accessible route, but it wasn't equal because she wasn't able to go the same route with her friends. And I think about that all the time when we think about inclusion and equality, um, and just all of those aspects. I know that's a little bit of like a tangent, and I feel like that could be a whole other episode, Kelly. But
Ooh, is that a
um,
teaser? Yeah, I think it is.
yeah, but I feel
We're
like
planning little Easter eggs, right? For future
exactly,
episodes. Like, go back
yeah,
and figure out when did we plant that seed.
exactly. But I feel like it just goes to show, like, like we were saying, there could be 3 accessible spots and then like 30 regular spots. Like that is just not fair. And again, we're not trying to complain or like seem like we're the best, like we need all the spots. It's just it's like it's just not fair. Like
Yeah, I think people think that it's a luxury, and
yeah,
that's the best word. Like that's a luxury to have that and such. And no, these are my needs. I
exactly.
didn't choose this. I didn't. You know what I mean? So this is like we're just trying to live our daily lives, and these are the things that we need to do that and to accommodate that. And yeah, I think people mistakenly think that oh that front spot must be hard. I think
Right.
there's just a misconception and thing with that I think comes with it, but
Yeah.
hopefully we just continue to destigmatize all
Yeah.
of those things.
Or even people who abuse the handicap placards. Like
Oh
I've seen
yeah,
that
like use the
before.
expired ones or use like their grandmas or when they were broke their leg, extend that out a
Yeah.
little bit to do that. Or I've seen people roll up and again, and you don't know what people's disability is and disclosing, they maybe have needed that. But yeah, I think that there
Yeah.
are a lot of overused placards
Exactly.
and things.
Yeah. Or even like don't quote me on this, but I think if you've been in the military and maybe have been injured once and you're able, or also are a veteran, you get an a placard automatically. And so I've seen people abusing that a lot. Like it's just hard to see, especially as people who actually need it. Um and so, yeah, that's difficult to watch. But I feel like if you take one thing from this episode, let it be this, that those lines matter and please respect them. Um, yeah,
Respect
respect
the lines.
those
Respect
damn
the lines.
lines.
Right? It's
Those
gonna
damn
death of us.
lines.
Yes. Stay in the mind.
Thank you so much for tuning in to this inclusive space where disability radiates and every listen helps amplify disabled voices that deserve to be heard. We're so grateful you're on this journey with us.
We share real stories, honest conversations, and expert insights that challenge misconceptions. Because disability doesn't define us, it's just a different way of experiencing the world.
Your support keeps this beautifully disabled, slightly chaotic show rolling.
You are truly the real MVPs. We have power, real stories.